Ladies and gentlemen, gather round. Yeah, for tonight, we present a tale of doubt, of scorn, of venom, flung like arrows in the dark. A tale of a panel. This panel, yeah, the final word panel. Big positivity, yet drowned in the cacophony of naysayers. But oh, how the tides have turned. Tonight, I stand before you. We stand before you, proven right, unshaken, victorious. We're going to take a little trip down memory lane and revisit some of the shadows, their words, your words, and shine a light on your folly. Exhibit A. These guys are deluded as always. Farke is rubbish. He needs to leave. Done. Oh, how that final word done sounded like a gavel slamming shut. And yet here we are, Farke standing tall, while you, dear critic, must eat your words. Exhibit B. I'm reminded of a song lyric. Experience is cheap. I should have listened to the warning. Those not heeding the warnings concerning Farke will unfortunately have to learn the hard way. Oh, the irony. Who's learning the hard way now? I wonder. Spoiler, it's not us. Exhibit C. Done with this channel. Deluded. Farewell then. The door was always open, mate. But it seems the mirror was not. Was deluded us? Nah, nay. Enlightened. Exhibit D. The Just Happy Clappers show, followed by a charming and little emoji of disgust. Emoji. Well, clap we did. And clap we shall. For our joy was not misplaced. It was prophetic. Exhibit E. Never heard such a bigger happy clapper in my life than that Jack kid. Mind-blowing indeed. Jack's optimism wasn't a flaw, it was a beacon. And now the storm has passed, and we're still standing. Exhibit F. Sorry, Joe. I don't agree with you or Jack today. I would go one step further and say you are all deluded. Sorry. No. We are not the ones who owe apologies here. The delusion was yours, my friend, and the truth has set us all free. Exhibit G. Yo, I know Jack is your friend and all, but his takes, man. The discussion from 24 minutes is just embarrassing for him and for your channel. You need to upgrade, like Leeds do on Farke. Upgrade. Well, you didn't need an upgrade. You needed time. And time has delivered us vindication. Exhibit H. The good point at Luton. The cognitive dissonance, I don't know what it means, I have to Google it, of these guys is a wonder to behold. Behold this then. Our dissonance was harmony in disguise, and that point was just the beginning. Exhibit J. Love the show, but you're clutching at straws, boys. Clutching at straws, nay. We were forging steel. Steel that's proven unbreakable. Exhibit K. Happy clappers staying away from the show. So it's only the utter clueless Jack telling his stuff about a football match. Respect to him for turning up though. Where is Lockie to tell me off again for being negative? Andrea, Joe B. This is a personal favourite, I can't lie. Or that guy on a diet from Ought to Know Better. Clueless. No. Courageous. Jack stood firm. I stood firm. We all stood firm. Where are you now, O prophet of gloom? Hiding. Perhaps as the light of truth blinds your negativity. And so here we stand, proven right. Our positivity unshattered. Our predictions fulfilled. And for those who doubted, who mocked, who sneered, your words have crumbled like dust in the wind. We were right, you were wrong, and now we await your apologies. So drop them in the comments below, dear skeptics. For tonight is ours, and the time is for you to make your amends. Curtain falls, but damn, our victory rises, man. Our victory fucking rises. Welcome back to another episode of The Final Word. It was long, wasn't it? But yeah, quite fun. It was fun. I took some comments there over the last 2 videos where we got absolutely battered. And yes, of course, I use fucking ChatGPT. I couldn't write that shit. All in and said, write me some response to that. Buff, it spat it out. Just a bit of fun, folks. Just a bit of fun. It is what it is. It is YouTube at the end of the day, remember. Right, folks, let's get straight into it because Leeds United, we're all bouncing. It's been a great 24 hours. We got back to winning ways, back top of the table. Results went our way, sorry. So, yeah, it feels great to be a Leeds fan again and I guess members of the FDL. Members of the FDL. But Luke, we'll start with you, seeing as you're to my right, I think, or your left, I don't know. How was it for you, mate? Must be bouncing, eh?
Yeah, do you know what? I was almost on the wrong side of the fence before yesterday. I thought, of all the games that we've got left, we're not going to get anything at Middlesbrough if we continue in the rich vein of, even the opposite to the rich vein of form that we're in, the poor form, and whilst we've still been picking up points here and there, we've not really been playing well, and the commitment and it looked like it was there. First of all, actually, let me just say thank you to those of you who recognise that I am on a diet, because I'm not on a diet. I'm just looking well. Do you know what I mean?
When I read that back, I thought that's a belter.
The fat lad, I'm like the fat backing dancer from Take That. Yeah. So going into last night, I wasn't full of optimism as I usually am, because I thought if we continue playing the way we do, then yeah, I think Middlesbrough are well drilled. Carrick's got playing well, and I thought that was probably our trickiest fixture of the last probably 8, 9, or 10 games. So, yeah, to take all 3 points, mate, and we well deserved them as well. That was the main thing. Look, they get a couple of half chances that Darlow did well with, and we had a couple of good blocks as well. I think, yeah, absolutely. But we should have scored 3 goals, officially, and then we had other chances as well, Joe. It was almost like they'd had a rocket shoved up their ass, and this was it, and the results going our way couldn't have gone any better as well. So it's almost, they got the just rewards last night for everything that they put in on the pitch, because it was a high tempo game. It was exciting to watch. It was a really good game. It didn't feel like a 1-0 match. No. So to come away, I think come away with all 3 points, mate. I was almost giving myself fellatio, to be honest.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great night. Lockie, you've been going on about, for a few weeks now, and rightly so, about having that desire, that want to win, putting it in, for 90 minutes. And I felt, even though some performances waned a little bit in the second half, they still were giving everything for the shirt, I felt. Not more so than your main man Tanaka, who literally was crying post-match. So it was good to see, wasn't it? And bodies on the line, defence on the line, we weren't amazing defensively because Boro did have chances, but it was good to see them fighting for it again.
That's all I wanted to see, Joe. Genuinely, that's all I wanted to see. I wanted to know if they've got it. Do you know what I mean? If they've got that. I know we want to see them dominate and all this stuff, but when you see a team play like that, I made a joke when we scored at the start, it's going to be like Barnsley, and it actually ended up being a bit like Barnsley, to be honest. Remember Barnsley and the Bielsa, that horrible game where we just needed to hold on, and we just did. It was horrible. It was like that, but it showed that they have got that in there, and like you said, you can tell, can't you, after a game, the celebrations, just how much they put into that. Because Middlesbrough are a good team on good form, and they're confident. They move a lot. They're always moving. They attack aggressively. So I saw what I needed to see, Joe, and that was desire, heart, body on the line, excellent tackles, everyone working hard, and a bit of passion. The things that us fans love, we all love it. That's why we love Leeds. It's all about passion in it. We like good football as well, but I'm glad I saw it. And now, having seen that type of performance, I'm confident. I'm more confident. A lot more confident.
Definitely. Is the confidence exuded by you and Andre? You're feeling, because I know you're quite. Sometimes you don't want to. There's still a long way to go. But has your confidence peaked a little bit with 5 games left to go and results going our way?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Because if I look at the schedule now, it's easier. compared to the other teams, honestly, and they have to play each other. Remember that. Yesterday was the performance that we needed to have. Absolutely 100%. All that matters at this stage is getting the 3 points, even the hard way, even the dirty way, the not nice way, you know. I know that people might say, oh, but that wasn't a beautiful football, that wasn't full-flowing football, but at this stage, you need to get the 3 points, even defending, because let's not underline that Boro are a good team. They are a good team, absolutely. They will be there till the end to try to get into the playoffs and stay and get a good position there. And they had their chances, like Luke said, you know. So Darlow was there, was good, but I think the game plan was different yesterday compared to the one at Luton. I would have liked to see us play more in this way at Luton, honestly. They are more physical than Boro in a certain way, but at this stage, after the performance at Luton, where the team looked disjointed, they looked with no intensity compared to yesterday and no reaction throughout the game to moments where Luton were pushing, were pressing. Yesterday was different, honestly. Even when we defended, we looked absolutely, even in the details, we look absolutely into it. The tackle by Bamford, the tackles by Ampadu, the recovery by Tanaka, the fullbacks, they didn't get forward much yesterday. They stayed back, they defended, they tried to force the 1v1s. We barely conceded the direct passes in the middle. We forced them consistently to the 1v1 situations on the wings with Farke first and then Byram and Bogle on the other side. But they got past them a few times, but not so much. Not so much. I think they did a good job. The only threats that we had were the switch from the left with the cross to the right. And luckily, Bergzorg decided to try to give the ball to some fans in the stands a few times. You know, they didn't hit the target. But yeah, I think sometimes, especially in this moment in the season, you need to have a reaction. And they did. Intensity, togetherness. We'll get there, I think, eventually. But even the post-match, what we saw in the post-match it made me even happier than the result, because it shows that this is a United team and everyone is focused on the goal. And the goal is automatic promotion. And the most important thing that boosts my confidence going into the last few games, apart from the way we played, the intensity that we showed yesterday, is the fact that it's back in our hands now. It's in our hands now. It's up to us to get and defend the top spot. Yeah. Muted Joe, I think. All right.
I was just going to say, yeah, I'm here. Just to come back to you, actually, Andrea, even as well, like Farke can use the 2 disallowed goals as well as sort of like motivation for that group, because not only did they come through a tough game, they came with the refs against them as well. Do you know what I mean, mate? And we still come through and we still get 3 points. So that's massive as well. And
yeah, it's massive. And apart from the fact of the referee that I think we may talk about later on, just want to say, if you look at the 3 goals, similar situations. So it shows that the game plan yesterday was perfectly tailored to the type of football that Middlesbrough play. We conceded then the possession in certain ways, but we were effective on the counter. Bamford goal, the Solomon goal, the Tanaka goal, they are all similar, you know. They are all similar, coming to one side. And Gnonto, good pass to Bamford there, you know. Yeah. So the game plan was effective because we scored 3. We got only 1, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's mad. Jack, I know you've been... we were all like in our group chat last night, where's Jack, man? He's gone missing. And then I watched you on a video earlier on. You were
was looking for Parag.
Yeah. He was in the field somewhere.
Parag was looking for him.
Offering sheeps and cars out like that. Are you Farke out, were you? You must be buzzing, mate.
Delighted, yeah. I went to watch it in pub yesterday because I just thought, just get out, and you know, it can go one or two ways, can't it, watching it in pub. But I'm absolutely buzzing. I've been waiting for this. We've been like hanging on for a few weeks now with results sort of waning, and my confidence was dwindling away, you know, like it was for everybody. You know, it's just the nature of beast. You know, I started to worry that we were in more than just a bit of a rut, but I did expect a bit of a blip. And I've been trying to bang on the drum to suggest that Burnley and Sheffield United will not be able to keep up this run. And this idea that our form cannot change and everybody else's can, and however it changes, it just stays that way to the end of the season, just seems crazy to me. So I've been trying to say it, as deluded as I am. And, we're a long way off finishing, but, that is a massive, massive step in the right direction, isn't it? I really liked how we just ground it out a little bit, though. And, like, Tanaka's reaction at end and stuff, I thought were really genuine, because I'm proper into, like, I think players can put it on a little bit. Tanaka was... It
wasn't Pontus Jansson, was it? It wasn't a Pontus Jansson.
I couldn't stand that Jansson moment. He did it a few times. I couldn't stand it. I could see straight through it. But with Tanaka, it were like he'd had a real wobble with that, and It's also, and I enjoyed how Gilavogi were like laughing at him. Do you know what I mean? It's like, come on, man, like but Tanaka was just sort of in the zone, wasn't he? But it means that they're off to promised land, aren't they? Genuinely. Yeah. So can you imagine for Tanaka? This has kind of come out of nowhere for him as well. Like, it's come to this massive sleeping giant, potentially on the brink of getting to Premier League. He's probably aware that he's got a move on the cards, but if we go up, the move's better for him. Or, if he has a season in the Prem with us and stuff. So, it's enormous for him just in general. It's sort of landed on him, hasn't it? This huge opportunity for, as much as nobody likes Farke anymore on Twitter, he's got a good manager above him, a good club. Playing, he's like the main man in centre midfield for us. We all love him. We all want him to play every minute of every game. So it's just. I was just honestly zinging like a towel burger. It really kicked in today, and I was just like, because I sort of didn't really realise last night, and then I was like, oh, it's proper on again. We just obviously need to back it up, but then we're going to home game, and I'm really confident.
100%. Like, I think the fact as well, like, I think them others have got. I know Sheffield United have got 3 away games. Burnley have got 3 home games, but one of them Sheffield United, and we've got 3 home games against Preston, against Stoke, and against Bristol City. We're back in that place where if we win them home games, we get promoted. That's where I think we're at. Swansea was the real mess up. The fact that we won away at Boro, we win them 3 home games now, we get promoted. I think we might not win the league, but it guarantees us second. I think.
I think we can take a lot out of that.
The pressure is mounting.
Yeah, I think we can take
mounting in Sheffield.
Yeah, it is.
Go on, Andrea. Sorry.
No, I finished. I
think we could take a lot more from. As I said to you guys earlier, didn't I, in the chat, that we could probably take a lot more from a grind out knit. A real battle 1-0 win than if we'd have gone there and beaten them easily 5 or 6-0 and started resting on our laurels again. Because it's almost felt like that's what we did after smashing Cardiff and smashing Watford. The form just went off the edge of a cliff almost immediately, and there's probably a couple of games difference in there. But when you're going and beating teams in the same league 7-0, you know what I mean? You do obviously. There's gonna be a sense of Billy Big Bollocks around, and there is going to be characters within that squad that probably think the job's already done, and it's almost like we've hit that trough now. We couldn't get any. That group of players could not be performing any worse as a collective, and then to go into last night and actually grind that 1-0 out, it's going to give them that belief that actually, you know what, these tough games that we've been in with your Millwalls and other teams like that, and probably going to be similar to Preston's going to be one of those types of games. I should imagine that actually we can come out the other end and we can defend for 90 minutes and we don't have to concede, and we've got the ability and then the belief that is I believe is now back within that group. And I think, just to go back to my original point, is we're going to take much more out of that as a squad than actually dicking somebody 5 or 6-0.
100%.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I agree, and you could tell by their reaction. If they'd have won that, like Luke said, 3 or 4-0, I don't think they'd been on the knees at the end. They'd have been like, job done, move on. But that meant something to them, didn't it? That meant that they knew that were going to be tough, and they got over that barrier now. They've got that win. Didn't get the draw. They got that win. Clean sheet as well. And they worked hard for that. They worked really hard for that clean sheet. I know people saying it's a terrible performance. It was a nervy performance. It was tough. But digging in and that side of the game is part of football, especially now. You need that. And Sheffield United lost 2 in a row. Yeah. We've not done that. You know what I mean? We've got that reaction there. And this is... Them draws, they're not great and we should have won them, but they're not losses. So maybe they just add up slightly at the end, especially when Sheffield United are losing 2 in a row. Do you know what I mean? I feel like we're the type of team that kind of just about does enough to get them points. That's why how many we lost this year? It's not a lot, is it?
No, it's not, mate.
Yeah.
Is it?
And
four.
Mental. That's so little.
And there's also another thing that shouldn't go unnoticed for me, because even yesterday in the post match, the comments, the pieces I read online, it should be underlined that Boro had 1-3 in the last 5, so they were in a good form. And going to the real side is not easy. We had a decent record away there now, but it's not an easy place to go. Especially they are a good team. You know, Iheanacho, Azaz is a good player.
Hayden Hackney was very good. Hayden Hackney was
good. Absolutely. Yeah. Even Morris.
Conway quiet, didn't we?
Yeah.
Even Conway is a good player. To be fair, but yeah, you need to see. I mentioned Sheffield United because we face the pressure. We know how Leeds fans and the fan base are when you're not making results. Now we'll have to see how the Sheffield United fan base reacts to these 2 losses in a row, because we see after the loss at Oxford, the comparison between Farke and Wilder, how they dealt with not getting the result the fans wanted. Farke stayed grounded, and people criticize him because he talks about player. If he is pointing out some differences or some certain traits in their football that needs to be improved, it's for their own good. It's to motivate them even more. But he never accused or attacked the fan base or the fan or his players. You know, Wilder after Oxford, he criticized the fans because there were some complaints, and he criticized them. So now they have lost another one, and some people in the fan base will go back to those comments he made after Oxford. So they need to deliver. They're under pressure because they were absolutely having a good moment. Now they have 2 losses, never had. You need to see if they're able to react, because how many times have we seen Sheffield United getting a result despite playing bad?
Exactly, yeah.
Despite playing bad. Now they played bad and they didn't get the result, so we'll have to see how they want to react. But
you're right,
with the role of chasers, yeah.
Leeds and Burnley have not been battered.
Yeah.
We've not been battered. Whereas Sheffield United have been battered at times, you know, that whole result earlier on in the season. So they do have it in them. And like you said, watched them a bit, and sometimes they've been shy, but then winning 1-0. I think they've got, I don't know, is it like 12 1-0s or something like that? But eventually that will come unstuck, won't it? That will, and it has done, I guess, in the last 2 against opposition, really. They should have been beaten. The Oxford one, you go, okay, it can happen. You think they'd beat Millwall at home. You know, Millwall away is much tougher. I could see it, but at home I thought, yeah, they'll beat Millwall. But and again, like, we got so much stick for saying that actually a point away at Luton wasn't that bad. Burnley went to Derby, who were only 2 places above Luton, and drew 0-0. You know, at this stage of the season, a point against bottom in their ground. That's why, you know, I've been looking at the fixtures again, thinking we need it sewn up before Plymouth on final day, because you don't want them to be needing a win on final day. Do you know what I mean? You just never know, do you? So
this is why I'm never about that easy fixture thing.
Yeah,
like, this is proof of it. Look at like you said, you just named all the teams. They're losing or drawing to poor teams who, for 90% of the season, they beat comfortably. These teams are fighting to stay in a league, and that's a different type of team you're playing there. That's a team that are angry and they're aggressive, and it's something else. You've got to find that motivation within you and try and realise what you're fighting for the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? That's got to be bigger, hasn't it? That's what you've got to find. And those players last night, they showed that they knew what they were fighting for at the end of that game. You could tell, and that's why the Tanaka getting emotional, saying he felt empty. He's stressed in it. He had a nice little few years in Germany, been the best player in the league, chilling, you know, just controlling midfield, and he's finally come to the Championship, and it's broken him, poor lad. But hey, welcome to the Championship bit. And then the other one as well, with Nonto and Schmidt behind him, hugging each other. It meant a lot. They are stressed. They are feeling it, clearly. But they're getting through it. And look, I'll complain when we don't win and all that jazz. But I've seen people say it, they don't care and all. They care. I think they might care too much, some of them. And that's channeling that for me. That's the problem. But,
do you think, Joe, do you think we've come? Do you think now we're coming out of the other end of our blip? So do we now see us going back to our? I mean, not just you, Joe, but everybody. Do you see us going back to our best now? Is that are we through our? Have we hit our trough and that's it now? We're back on the ascendance.
It's mad because I said to Jack when we did our predictions, I said the first 4 after the international break will be a bit tough, and I include Preston in that. I think Preston at home is not ideal for us, and I think we might just go. I think we'll win. There might be like 2-1 or something, but then I think the next 4 for Leeds, Stoke at home, Bristol City. I think that's where we just go. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not going to be a massive gap, but I think we're going to be all right. I do. The win last night, Luke, you said it yourself. It's massive. What we came through, the disallowed goals, the team we were playing, how informed they were. They knew they couldn't have any lapses, and I think and think like Luke, Jack, you'll be going to the game. You'll be bouncing on Saturday morning now. Ellen Road's going to be absolutely bouncing. The sun's probably going to be shining. The atmosphere is going to be electric, which then just takes it up a notch, man. So yeah, I would think that's us now. We might, you never know, we might not lose again.
I think I do think this. We've had a few draws at home, haven't we, recently? I still think that's now. Can we do what we did away at home with a slightly different? The crowd are going to be expecting from forward football. On the ball, dominating, quick, aggressive. I think it might get a little edgy if we are like it was yesterday. When we're backs against the wall for a little bit, it'll get a little bit nervous. So it's about riding that out if that happens. But I agree. If we get over this test against Preston, I think they've shown that what the outcome could be. I'm not going to say it's Andrea's.
It's a tough fixture still because I said before, when we started, now the fixtures are easier in terms of they are easier on paper because you're facing teams that Preston has 49, Cardiff have 42, so it's not over yet in terms of they need to still get the automatic clarification, confirmation of safety. But even when you're facing teams that are already safe, they play with a clear head. So then they are not in more to us to the league. So they play with a clear head, even the teams that we are going to face in the end. So absolutely, there's no easy fixtures. But yesterday, especially looking at the way we won the game, it's a massive confidence boost for them because it shows that it can even be done the hard way. And especially, I think, like we said before, sometimes it's better to get a tight 1-0 win, stuck in, playing as a unit, sacrificing for each other. There were players that we know that are talented. They have a lot of quality going forward. They can dribble. But yesterday, they sacrificed for the team in the last 15, 20 minutes. Everybody sucked in. We closed all the spaces. We created narrow spaces. And it's good because when you win as a team and not due to the individual brilliance of one individual, because if we got a result at Luton, it would have been from Dan James, because that was in a very powerful stuff, a moment of brilliance from Dan James. It's in straight contrast compared to yesterday, where everyone dug in, hauled, and contributed to the win. And it's great, and it's an example to see a player who has been plagued by injury, like Patrick Bamford, like at Luton, getting subbed in and showing what we needed, that foul experience, because we waste time to that foul. We gain territory. We keep the ball higher up on the pitch. We take the pressure out from our own half. That tackle he made, that's what we need. Mm-hmm. That's the example. A player that has returned the last game from injury, we know what he can offer. The only problem is that he's very injury prone, because it would have been, it's a pity, honestly, because if it wasn't for the injuries, there's a very different Patrick Bamford. So right now we just have to have our fingers crossed and let's hope he stays fit. Because
he had a word with Aronson, didn't he, on his way off as well? He was trying. He was like, "Slow down, Aaron." That level of experience can't be taught, can it? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Because he wanted to be fouled.
Yeah, exactly. When he was fouled, he just threw the ball away. No one else will do that. No one would do that in our team, would they? They won't.
That's a right shit house. Luke, as the word Bamford left Andrea's lips, I just saw a wry smile come across your face, mate. Do you want to talk to us about the re-emergence of Lord Bamford, pal? Because there is a case for him to be. I mean, I don't look if you could get 90 minutes of him, I'd start him. I would, but I don't think we will. So how Farke's managing him at the minute is perfect, and he's going to have a say in the running. And if we're being honest, Jack, he should have had a goal on his 200th appearance, shouldn't he? So it was, it's a right renaissance, man. The farewell tour. This is
Saturday. Redemption. the redemption of Paddy Bamford. I think we'd be daft, and I'm not necessarily daft, but I think Farke might be daft to even consider starting him, just because we know how injury prone he is. He's probably not got a lot of minutes in the legs. He's not match fit, probably. But yeah, look, I don't know if you remember earlier on in the season when Paddy Bamford was injured all the time, and I think it was his first injury this season. He said, Paddy Bamford will play a part this season, and everyone rolled their eyes. It's the year 2025, and we're relying on Paddy Bamford. And the two appearances he's made recently, he's been arguably had the biggest impact of anybody coming on all season. Like, not scored, he's not made an assist, but just his presence and the way he puts himself about. It's like he's turned back the years slightly. It was on the last man of the last defender. He was right up in him. Something Joel Piroe doesn't offer you. He'll jump for every ball. He'll not stop. He's tenacious as fuck. He is that type of player. Bit of a shit house. He's exactly what you need coming back into your team with 5 games left to find a bit of, just to give that morale boost to the others as well, because there's a lot of youngsters in that team. There's still, we still take into account how young Willie Nonto is, and Joe Piroe's not an old lad. I think he's only 24, 25. These kids are, they're not Paddy Bamfords. They've not been on loan to 26 different clubs or whatever it is, and he's worn the t-shirt. And look, I for one welcome it. And do I think he's going to be the saviour and he's going to fire 10 goals between now and the end of the season and secure winning the league? Absolutely not. But what he will give you is exactly what I've just explained, and that's something we haven't got anywhere else on the field.
Come on then, Jack. Give us your thoughts on your man.
Well, I love him. Boss man. I think it's been, there's nobody that'd be more frustrated than him. We go on about, and everybody says that he's stealing a living and that, and he'll be seeing all this. Do you seriously think he don't want to have an effect on this side to get us up into Premier League? I don't think he knows what he's doing next year, the year after. That's for certain. His career feels like it's coming to an end, doesn't it? And ultimately, I know everybody likes to think he's 40 or something, but he's 31. He's got a few more years in him. Don't know at what level. But it's been brilliant to get him back. I can just never understand why people don't want him available. What's the point in having the player that we definitely has something to offer? If he's coming off the bench, if that's all you're using him for, if he's the third striker, if we'd have been the third striker all year, we had Piroe, Joseph and Bamford all season, we'd have never had the issues that we've had. Because one of them...
Second, Jack, just to correct you, he's better than Joseph.
I know he is. I think he's number one.
Second striker.
He's number one, Luke. What I'm saying is, if he is third, that's fine. That we'd never have the problem that we've had this season. We'd have had 3 genuine strikers. Then when Joseph's not at it, Bamford comes in. Piroe's not at it. We can move it about. But the problem, what's happened is, we've been so reliant on Piroe that Joseph hasn't been able to perform at that level. When Piroe's dropped off, we've had nothing to happen. And particularly off the bench, Bamford, we all know, offers so much. Well, I think he offers more than Piroe, but he's just so different. He's a proper traditional number 9. And against a team like Boro and Luton and teams like that coming on, there's nobody. We don't have anybody in the squad like him. And anybody that gives me shit for it, it's not my fault that we're still with Bamford. I've been waiting for Bamford's replacement ever since everybody else has. It's not like I'm just like, we must play Patrick Bamford. But I tweet it out every single time somebody puts it. Let me know when this striker gets here and we'll move on from Bamford. But ultimately, this happens every single time. We get to a certain point in the season and then we think, where's Bamford at? And then he comes in for about 10 games and we all go, right, yeah, actually, this works all right, this. And then he gets injured and then we go back into the loop of Bamford, don't we? And it's frustrating. But it's super frustrating for him. It's better to have him as an option. I don't understand the point of not having him as an option. I don't even particularly want him to start on Saturday. I don't think we need him to start. I think he's, like we're all saying, experienced enough. I think he's got enough about him to come off at bench and really offer. I mean, he scored yesterday for a start. I thought it was a shame he didn't get given the goal because it's a brilliant goal. And that when he's running back, sliding in, then he beats his man. I don't think anybody gets, and then the ball through. I think it's to James, all in the same sequence, just kills the game off in that moment. I don't think he gets any respect for like how good he actually is. Do you know what I mean? I think we all get lost up in a few big misses that he's had over years, few terrible penalties, and then for some reason he's just tarnished with it. When he's replaced, I'll no longer be talking about him. But he's come back, and thank God he's come back. And it will. And I've said, and again, it would Dwayne in my positivity towards him offering something towards the end of the season. But I've said all season there'll be a time for Bamford, and it is now. And we don't. What more do you want out of a senior player at the club? You'd normally respect these players a little bit more. They'd normally get treated a little bit better. Just in general,
old guard and that. Old guard, do it, Joe.
Well, and on Bamford, now that he's fully fit, even in January, I always said I supported the fact that we needed to get out on the market again another number 9 because you couldn't count off Bamford because, like I said, the worst part of his career is the fact that he's very injury prone. But when he's fully fit, and now he looks very fit, honestly, it's a reliable option. It's always been a reliable option, even in the second season in the Premier League. Before he got injured, remember how many late goals he scored in that season? Then he got injured celebrating, and that turned out to be a turning point, in his career because he had so many injuries that season. But apart from that, now that he's fit, I think I won't start him, honestly. I think he can have more impact off the bench because it's absolutely what you need, a player going for duels, going for air balls, try to hold up the ball and helping the team to get forward. It's absolutely what you need. And he has the experience. So I think in the pecking order, he's absolutely ahead of Joseph because he has more experience, simply for that. Yeah. Because he has more experience in what we need right now. Joseph is still a good player. He needs time to develop. His first full season. Again, I've been repeating this since the start of the season, basically.
There's a case that Joseph gets sent out on loan.
On loan, absolutely. You need to send out on loan. You need to send him out on loan, 100%. But for right now, for a team that wants to either win the league or at least get promoted with the automatics, you need an experienced player, an experienced number 9, different from the starting number 9, which is Boro, absolutely. At the minute, you need a different one that in certain situations, like at Boro, can help you and have an impact on not just scoring goals, of course, but even trying to defend the ball, holding the ball up, going for air duels, and helping the team to stay forward in certain situations. Because if you look at those before Bamford was subbed on yesterday, we were really, really deep in our own half. He subbed in Bamford, we started to get a little bit forward, higher up the pitch in terms of the shape where we had yesterday.
Yeah, there was no outlet, was there? We were winning it back, and obviously Perot was knackered at that time. There was no outlet to give it. But as soon as Bamford came on, he ran the channels, he played to feet, he was there, he won fouls. These might seem like little things, but when you're a team up against it, having that guy who like Andrea said earlier, can take the pressure off you is so important. And I wish we had more. I wish we had more experienced players like Bamford in the squad. I do. But obviously we didn't bring anyone in really that was that experienced. But he's doing his thing. I'd still keep him as sub. I think if you start him, it might nullify his effect a bit because he won't have 90 minutes in him, will he? And even if he does get tired near the end, who are you bringing on to bring what he brings? You know what I mean? You have to bring Perot on then, and you're not. You probably need a Bamford to come on. So I'd stick with Perot, and then Bamford get the last 20, 30 minutes.
The thing is, as well, there might be a case where it's Perot's game. Do you know what I mean? So if it is, we're fine. Do you know what I mean? We don't really need that. Whereas if Peru gets a couple of chances, 2-0, and then job done, really, and it would just revert back. Bamford still gets his 20 minutes, but it comes on with a different job to do, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
And there's also this thing, I think for now it's not coming from me, but in a game shaped like yesterday, I think when you saw Bamford on, looking at our current situation and looking at the level of pace that Boro has, which is really slow. He usually gets to the ball, one touch and passes the ball. You play Bamford as the 9 and Boro in the 10 right now because Aronson yesterday, I don't think it was his game. It wasn't a game.
In the first half in the pressing.
Yeah, he moved. He tried, off the ball, but on the ball, it wasn't his perfect game. I'm not saying he wasn't.
Did the nice little tricky turn. Where he got away from
I'm not saying he was bad. It just wasn't like Rothwell against once. There's certain games when the players try, obviously, but it's a game shaped in terms of rhythm and intensity differently to to their best traits, And yesterday, I think it was that case for Aronson. When you need to keep the ball up, Bamford can also attack in depth, attacking behind. And in that case, I think, especially in the final third, Pirot, at least, looking at what Aronson did yesterday, 1-2 touches, even Pirot can do that. But the ultimate problem is still that we don't have a natural 10 in the end. So you still have to adapt. And in April, it's mad that we didn't get out still, even if we won yesterday, to get a number 10, because it would have been, it would have thrown out the window he can play there, he can play there. Everybody now can play there, basically, but because there's not the proper one, yeah.
You spoke about, I think, because a lot of people were disappointed. I saw on Twitter, that Nonto didn't start, but then I look back now with hindsight, Nonto gets starts in that game, man. They'd have cut through us so easily compared to having, that 4-4-2 out of possession with Aronson and Pirot, leading the press from the front. I know Pirot's not great, but with Nonto in there, it'd have been a little bit spooky, to be honest, in my opinion. Anyway, boys, I want to talk about Schmidt as well. I thought Isaac Schmidt, when he came on, was unbelievable. Lucky you're nodding your head, because I remember, the start of the season, the manager got so much flack for not playing him, and it's almost like he knows when they're ready to be used. Do you know what I mean? And he's gone away on international duty, and he's come back, and I thought he was great when he came on yesterday. Really, really good.
He's a good player. He's a good player. It's unfortunate that he's not played a lot this season, but obviously that's to do with adapting to the league, levels and training and all that Farke's mentioned. But he's doing it now, and he said that last week, didn't he? He said Schmidt's up to it, he looks on it, and he's getting rewarded for it. I mentioned at the start of the season, little bits I'd seen is a bit like Rico Lewis, and I think we saw that. He's a fullback, but he doesn't really play or look like a fullback. He's much a technical player that can play through the thirds really well. And actually, I thought his defending was good in 1v1s as well. The guy got the cross in that time, but he got his foot across. That was unlucky. But there's one right at the end where he tries to take him on and just gets his body in front, and then turns with it, beats him and drives forward with it, and then finds a pass. Really good stuff from him. Look, I'm gutted that we didn't see more of him this season, but yeah, we've got some really good fullbacks, haven't we? So it's whatever. But
do you think Farke sees him as a fullback, honestly? Because every time he's been coming on, he's been coming on one of the wings.
Yeah, always. He's only played fullback once, I think he's only played fullback once.
I think that's probably why we haven't seen as much of him, because we've got really good wingers this season. I just don't think Farke does trust it. And look, I agree with what you say there, Lockie, about him looking decent defensively. And when he did play, I think he actually came on at right back when he played for us. In fact, he started at right back in the cup, didn't he? And Voba started at left back. And he doesn't look too shaky. But I mean, we've got to take into account the players that we've got. Look, Farke loves Sam Byram. Sam Byram's got through this season completely, pretty much scot-free in terms of injuries. Who'd have thought that? And if Farke has this question mark over his head as to which is his best position, you mentioned as well his levels of training earlier on, which Farke alluded to, that actually I've got this question mark. Why am I going to throw him into a game? Look, we give him his chance in the cup. He didn't do great, but then again, nobody really shone. And then he's got the amount of wingers we've got: Dan James, Willie Nonto, Solomon, Ramazani, and then Schmidt. If he sees him then as a question mark whether he's a winger or a fullback, he's then got to he's got to make a real solid decision. And so I thought it was really ballsy for him to put him on last night. I really did, and Gilavugi as well. I thought the subs were questionable. And
I don't think he missed a beat yesterday, Farke, in terms of how he managed.
No, I don't. I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right, which obviously goes to show that he has been managing him well, because he's brought him on at the right time. And actually, would it have been nice to see him earlier on in the season? We could say that, yeah, but he might not have been ready, and then it'd have been thrown in the bin, and players would be slating him now. You know what I mean? I think that's one thing that Farke does really, really well is his man management, and people are going to proper disagree with me here because
you're bang on lovely water.
No, we will tell the truth on here, won't we? Because we see it with our eyes and make our own opinions rather than listening to somebody else and forming their opinion. So what I would say is that his man management, for me, is one of his better traits. The way he talks to players, the way he talks. Look, Do I disagree with the way he talks about particular players? Probably a little bit, but he's only just started doing that, and I think that came under stress. If I'm honest with you, I think he did feel a little bit under stress with the current form. But actually, the way he's managed players, Mateo Joseph took him out. The one question mark I have got is obviously Ilian Millia. Could he have been taken out sooner?
That will be a massive question mark on this season, 100%, Luke.
Yeah. But other than that, I think he has been pretty much spot on in terms of the way he looks after his players.
Yeah, especially in the games where we needed to even get the reaction after a under par performance in the previous game or in the crucial games, because I think there's similarities in terms of substitution between, for example, yesterday, the Derby game, the Sheffield United game. So you see that he's really locked in terms of substitution and the timing in the pivotal games of the season for me.
We're top at league, aren't we? Believe it or not.
Exactly.
No, it's going to be hard to get every single player plenty of minutes, isn't it? You know, we are, when you play for a really good side, a really good squad, they're not all going to, some of them are just going to be a little bit unfortunate and have their moment in the sun, like you've been on about, Joe. And maybe towards end of the season, Ramazani's not quite bang at it. Farke's slightly frustrated. Maybe Schmidt was like that at the start of the season, and he was frustrated by Schmidt, and Schmidt's seen his opportunity and thought, well, I think I'm actually on my way up the pit. And then he's got a bit of a gain of, you know, and then they feel like he's got more of a relationship with Farke. They've worked each other out a little bit. You've no idea why we're in this position and why suddenly he's trusting Schmidt. But he seems right to be doing, doesn't he? Because Schmidt's been excellent. I mean, I thought he was good the other day when he came on again.
Yeah, he was,
Luton. No, he's certainly not going to let us down. So he's a very good squad player.
Good. Agreed.
Could I just bring something up? And I've seen it going around a lot. I don't know where it started, but it's about this history of Farke falling out with players and all this.
Yeah, I've seen it in the chat there.
That is the biggest fabrication I've ever seen. So the guy in Borussia Mönchengladbach is Friedrich, who's a centre-back, who Farke played every minute the first half of the season, and then he dropped him because he dropped off form. So the player went out to the media and criticised Farke for dropping him. What's the man like? That's not on him. That's on the player.
Exactly. Same as Russell Martin at Norwich. Same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Russell Martin actually said afterwards he had no thingy against Farke. Just, you know, that is what it was. And so that's one player, and that's because he came out and criticised his manager in literally in all the German media. So what did you expect him to do? He's got respect for himself. So there was that. So that's BS. And then the Norwich one, his two best players were not performing when they needed them. And he was not happy. So he dropped Buendia and he dropped Cantwell, put them to the 21s. Buendia didn't cry. He got on with it and he came back to the team. And Cantwell did and never recovered. And when Farke got sacked, he still played in the 21s. So that's that. So that's not just his problem. And then there was Nelson Oliveira, who was a striker at Norwich.
Yeah, Portuguese. Good player.
Another player who thought he should have got more minutes. Farke played him. He scored. He celebrated in front of Farke, mocking him. What are you going to do to that?
Yeah, you need to defend your authority.
Exactly. Every football club has this all the time. We need to stop acting like it's just a Farke thing. It isn't. Every football club has these problems. Just where Leeds, we only see the Farke ones. Honestly, you go on every single manager and type in their name with problem, a player from this club, and I guarantee there'll be one or two.
Imagine how many Bielsa's got.
Half the squad now at Uruguay.
Yeah. The whole of Lazio.
Yeah. Exactly.
Also, though, sorry, Lockie, but it don't. It's just
even the eagle.
Getting a couple of them, even if that was to be true, that he's got a couple of them allegedly wrong, that doesn't mean his man management skills aren't very good.
No, exactly.
He's managing 20 players at minimum in every squad.
Maybe the player's a bit of an ass.
Yeah, but there's just many. He could get one wrong. Mourinho's got some clangers, hasn't he, with players and stuff. You know, he's quite good man management. He only lasts 3 years, or whatever, and then they all fall out with him or whatever. But in terms of, you're not going to get every single personality bang on. You're going to get the odd one wrong. Don't make you a bad man manager.
In an interview a year and a half after Farke left, Cantwell did an interview and he mentioned Farke and he still has respect for him and he still said he did a lot of good things together. So even though he dropped him, clearly now on reflection, he understood why.
Trust me, as well, don't you? The kids, a lot of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you know what I mean? And they've got a lot of growing to do. They think that best player in the world and the ego through roof.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think he's very good at grounding people, and people don't like that, and that's fine. People like managers that just give them all the ego, but he's not that, and that's the way he is, and he's stuck to that all his career. And some won't like that. That's just the way it is.
And there's also this myth going around, but Farke is not. He's not defending the development of certain players. He doesn't want to play them. They're good, etc. He's against the development of certain players. Tell me one thing. Who was Jorginho Rotter before Daniel Farke managed him last season?
Yeah.
Very simple. Look at that example. There's many other examples at Norwich, but the thing is very, very simple, and it's unfortunate because it's very anti-Leeds United, honestly, anti the mentality of what Leeds United stands for. I think some people don't like Farke, don't like his decisions. That's all right. Absolutely, you can or dislike a manager, but you need to be objective. If something is working, you need to admit it. I think there's some certain people. I saw so many comments about Gnonto and Ramazani, who are absolutely good players, but Solomon and James were performing consistently throughout the season. I know that many people like Gnonto and Solomon because they can see more tackles, more dribbles. They are more exciting compared to James and Solomon. Solomon and James are more workhorses, They are working players. They are very different. They are not dribblers and all that. Gnonto and Ramazani, they are dribblers. They can dribble. They are more creative, But I see more comments about the fact that Ramazani and Gnonto were not played throughout the season than praise to James and Solomon, And every time James or Solomon had a bad game, they were slated. Because why? Because people had their favorites and wanted Gnonto or Solomon over them. It's okay in a certain way when you say, like I said to not for the Luton game, I think after the Swansea game, I said, I think Solomon looks very tired. I would start Gnonto ahead of him because Gnonto can offer playing on the left wing, In that case, you can hear me properly, lads, yeah?
Yeah.
Because I had, I think, a click in my headphones. That's why. But yeah, I think yesterday, what Leeds United stands for is pictured when Ramazani and Farke went to the fans together. Because at the start of the season, Wissam Ramazani said, I think he's going to struggle at the start, well, up to the pace and intensity of English football. Because Spanish football is completely different. I saw tweets last week about when he didn't play Ramazani, saying, oh, I can't wait to see Ramazani going to a different club next season and score 15 goals abroad. Yeah, it's a different type of football. It's better suited there. He needs time to adapt, to get played. He still has a part to play this season, absolutely. And Farke knows that. Farke knows that too, because he's keeping every player in line. He didn't go out and slated him. He said he needs to improve, and we've seen Garitano doing that at Almeria. So it's a pattern.
You saw Farke as well standing behind the line, didn't you? He watched it when they went over to the fans. He stood and he watched. He admired all the players, and he could see he was taking it in. Andrea, you absolutely spot on. He just sort of watched, and then that's when he got involved, and that's when he obviously pushed Rama forward. So I think he's a spot on man manager. I'll be honest with you, and I don't think he's got a lot wrong. Look, some of the things have been questionable. Has he overplayed Aronson? Probably, but we haven't got an alternative option. And the other one is obviously the Meslier probably shouldn't have maybe put all his eggs in one basket so early, with Meslier saying he was the best goalkeeper in the league. Do you know what I mean? And then it's a bit of pill to swallow when he does it again and then again. Do you know what I mean? And then actually doesn't have a choice because Parag Marath comes in and tells him to drop him. So
But even the very quick one, Lucky. Even the thing that for certain players I read on Twitter, really, I can get my hand around it. It makes me smile because I see comments like people referring to Gnonto, Ramazani, or other players in the squad, just like my mate, bro, my brother. What? They are professional footballers. They're not kids. They're not kids. They are 22, 23, some of them, 21. They're not 17, 60-year-old kids. They are professional footballers. They can face the pressure. They have the mentality. They can show that they are still developing, lads. I think treating them like kids or like my bro, my mate, and everything. They don't know you. The Leeds
And why are
United
they?
players.
And why are this? Why are they? Why are they turning? Why are Leeds fans all of a sudden turning into USNMT fanboys?
Yeah,
Where they follow
exactly.
a player's career rather than wanting what's best for the club. They prefer Joseph's development to come on or Ramazani to leave the club in next season and score 15 goals. It's bonkers, man.
Yeah,
I don't know where it's come
blew
from.
my mind. That blew my mind.
Yeah,
That whole
yeah.
I can't wait for him to leave and we deserve it and all that shit. I'm like, what do you mean? You want someone?
It's always them. It's always our friends, the Tacticos clan. So they
And
have this
they'll follow him.
terminology like my bro, my mate, mi hermano de corazón.
They'll follow him forever now, and he'll get 8 goals somewhere next year, and they'll be all all
Told you
crying
so.
on Twitter and like, I can't, what a player we have missed out on for some shits in Spain. He's got a couple of goals or something at Bernabeu.
That's another thing that happens every year as well. Every
want
club
them at
loses
Leeds. Let's see
players
next
that
season.
turn out to be fantastic. Every club does that. I just wanted to quick say something, Josh. Sorry. Every manager's different. Every player's different. I, as a player, like to manage who spoke to me a lot, was on it. Like I probably wouldn't have liked Bielsa because he was cold. I wouldn't have liked that. I'd have needed that relationship with the coach because I'm soft. So I'd have probably liked Farke. That's probably why I have a little bit of, I like to back him because I'd have liked that style of manager that puts your arm around you, speaks to you. Some people are different. Some people don't want to hear it. But what you've got to do, what they've got to do as footballers is accept whatever the manager is because that's the club you're at and you've got to do the best for him. Every day he comes into training doing the best for you. He wants you to do well. You've got to prove that to him. And like Andre said, these are professional athletes. They're not kids. They want to make it. We're talking about Premier League. We're talking about ridiculous. None of us in this chat will ever get anywhere near what they are, right? Not even close.
Speak for yourself.
They are. Yeah, well, yeah, you never know. There's a big game coming up, so you might impress.
I'm like Alan Hutton.
But the point being, this is their career. If you don't love the manager, get over it and get on with it. That's it. Yeah. That's the way it is. That's football. So, look, you might not love him. That's fine.
Just you're right because every manager's it. And look who's held a god in our most recent history. Marcelo Bielsa. Look what he did with players. He hung Janssen out to dry. Who else did he do it to? He did it to Pablo as well towards the end when Pablo asked to leave to go home, didn't he? Early or something. And he benched him.
I saw a story about
when we sold Ronaldo too.
I saw a story about Cooper when he tried to leave when his wife was pregnant, but she wasn't having the baby yet, so he didn't let him go. Something like that. Like, imagine Farke did that. Whoa.
Yeah.
I love Bielsa, by the way, he's a god, but I'm just saying we've got to be fair here. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, exactly. Listen, this is football, isn't it? I think it's always something new. Like it's always like it's the next thing. That's why we're losing. If only you'd have played. If only you know what I mean. And anyway, what I do want to do is just bring it back to a conversation that we would probably. I'll come back to you actually, Jack, because you mentioned it on your video, and I know Luke's a big advocate of it as well, so you can both speak on it. And I think I'm coming round to the idea, and I was thinking about earlier about what we do in the Prem, and I'm like, are we in a position where, due to the injuries, and I actually feel with Strout coming out yesterday, what it enabled Gruev to do was to drop in a 3 when we were building up. More so than, like, say, when Strout's there, he sort of operates that full left-hand side. I quite liked the fact that Gruev sort of picked it up in the left-back position a lot more than he would have done, say, if Strout was on. Maybe that was tactical by design or whatever. Or it was down to personnel. I actually think Ampadu and Rodon is our best partnership, could be our best partnership. And then you could be looking at Tanaka and the return of Calvin Phillips in the Premier League in midfield. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. But Jack, what are your thoughts on the centre back situation?
I don't want it in the Prem, to be honest.
You don't want them to win the Prem.
No, not to be honest. Now I want Ampadu in middle because I think it's something for us to build around as well. And I think really, well, obviously the centre back and the centre mids are so important, but I just think we need strengthening there. So if we're going, I feel like we need to buy everywhere. If Ampadu's not starting at centre midfield, then we need centre midfielders. We need some backup defenders. It's like I just feel like we're pushing issues around. I think Ampadu's best position is centre mid, like that defensive role of centre mid. But I think him and Rodon as a partnership are the best partnership we have. Also, because we're in the Championship and we have a lot of the ball, and I think they can compete with any centre forward that plays at championship level, I think Ampadu's completely fine with. I think when we're up against Haaland and stuff, you want full-blooded centre-backs, really. You know, we're gonna be up against it a lot more. The reason why it works so well when Gruev's in there, though, is because all three, and I don't care what anybody tells me about Struijk, Pascal, he's not that good on the ball. So when there's Gruev, Ampadu, and Rodon, they're all good on the ball. So we've got three ball players, basically, when Gruev comes and sits in.
We got more long balls from Ampadu from deep as well, I felt, because...
Well, he loves clipping it over at top as well.
The space.
Yeah. He loves like when Bamford sets off, particularly, he loves chipping it over. And he did it to Rutter a few times last year, where he clipped ball over at top. He's got quite a wide range of passing. He's also got loads of room, hasn't he? Because, you know, they're not... That's why I can't believe how many loose passes Struijk has, really. There's nothing... There's no pressure on him whatsoever. I know you've got to move the ball quickly and stuff, but it's just like, come on, man. But yeah, I think it's our best partnership because we have so much of the ball. But I think Ampadu's not an out-and-out centre-back. I think he offers too much in centre-mid, just his whole... He's just more about the game. He's more involved at all times in centre. So going forward, I do want him back in centre-mid. But to end the season, to be honest, because I don't think Struijk will come back,
no.
I'd just go Ampadu and Rodon. I won't start messing about with Wobber, trying to get him in, or, you know. I think somebody put in the comments the other day, what about Schmidt? I thought, I don't know where that one's come from, but definitely not the centre-back. So,
try it out. I think, I was going to say, I think Rodon looks a little calmer with Ampadu next to him as well.
You like each
obviously
other.
Wales, Welsh, and all, yeah, the mates. They don't scream at each other either. Rodon likes to scream at people. He never does to Ampadu. I don't think they've got that kind of connection, you know what I mean?
They
where they know when
definitely
they're messed up, all that stuff. And like you said, Jack, I think right now that partnership works for what we need and where we want to be. But I do agree. I know, speaking of players Farke likes and get on with Elvedi, someone like Elvedi at Borussia Mönchengladbach, a big player that's played at top level, is someone who can up us another level. But right now, yeah, I like it. It's good. They always just seem to deal with everything around that box. Just get it out. They block everything. Yeah, Rodon's a little calmer when he's there. He's a bit more composed, I think. And you are right. Like, Ampadu's passing range is a joke. I'll say he's underrated. He's not. We all love him, but he's such.
I agree with you.
Ampadu.
I think
he's
he
so
is
good, isn't he? If he could like proper get a position and stay fit all for one season, I think it'd be immense. He's such a good player.
Brinlow called them yesterday, Ampadu, Rodon, and Dalo, the Welsh triangle, in the commentary. But yeah, I think right now it works because they are not pressed. If you remember last season, especially in the playoffs and the final, when you have a player like Armstrong in the playoff final trying to get in behind or challenge Ampadu, he struggles. When he has to go for air duels or face a physical struggle, player, he struggles. Right now, in possession, when they are not pressed, Ampadu is like a midfielder in defense. It's like having two playmakers, one in the number 6 and Ampadu as centre back. So it's working right now. When teams leave us the possession, is effective. But against challenging strikers, team pressing in the Premier League won't work. So absolutely. And even in the Championship against certain sides, you know.
I don't think.
But yeah.
I don't think Rodon likes big centre forwards though. So that's one thing I will give Pascal. I actually think Pascal's good. I sound like I'm coming across like I don't think he's good. I think he's a very good Championship defender.
Pascal, and he likes this bit of a.
Yeah, but he's really strong up against like a proper number 9. I can't. I think maybe Watford or something. But there's been a couple of times I've just thought Rodon's, if ball's bouncing about a bit, he's just never going to win it, and he goes down a little bit. Does Rodon, where Pascal just stands up to everything. He's a big lad, isn't he?
Yeah. I think Pascal's. I like Pascal, but I do agree. I think his passing range is very much give it to the left back. That's kind of what he does, which is fine. But you look at Ampadu spraying the ball to the side of the pitch.
It's premeditated, isn't it, Lockie? It's very easy to read for an attacking team what Pascal's going to do with the ball. With a team like us that has so much possession and you know time within the centre backs, and unless teams come and press us, which suits us, you know, because they got that much time to have a player like Ampadu in there, it just suits us better at this time. If you ask me this next season, who's going to be more important at centre back, it would certainly be Pascal, because he's probably, as you said, more physical. He's bigger. He's going to win you more headers against your strikers in the Premier League. We're not going to have as much time on the ball if we get promoted next season either. So Ampadu absolutely should be moved back into midfield, and in my opinion would get eaten alive in the Premier League at centre back in a team like ours anyway. That's probably not going to have all that much possession.
Yeah, okay. That's my opinion, shot and blasted to the ground. Anything to get Calvin back in that midfield. Anything.
Okay.
Boys, obviously, we've done an hour and 6 minutes. We've been through absolutely loads tonight. It's been a great show. Just one thing, sort of thing to mull over. Are we all with Nonto coming in for James? It's likely James won't make the weekend. Are we all banging the Nonto train and Solomon on the left, Aronson in the 10?
I think it might be Ramazani,
You might start him on the right, do you think, or move Solomon, or what?
I think he might.
Is that me, Oren?
It's good timing.
That's great timing. That,
Greg stepped in and blocked it.
yeah,
Don't want the team sheet getting leaked, Prague.
Boys, any thoughts? Luke says
No, I just want to look at Luke frozen there.
Yeah, that would be another good, that, wouldn't it? If
it would be great to see if he did. Yeah.
He's done this before, Farke, where someone's not had minutes and he brings them in with injuries. But I think if Ramazani starts, Nonto must be absolutely fuming. Do you know what I mean? When he's been playing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think Nonto were good. I think when he came on, he weren't the best sub, but he still attacked well. I thought he was good. Yeah. He made runs and stuff like that. So yeah, I want to see him on the wing. That's what I've been craving. So get him out there. Yeah.
And I think the only thing against Nonto starting in place of James is not match fit. Is his ankle problems. Otherwise, he should start. But if his ankle is still troubling him, better to have him impacting the game from the bench. And Ramazani starting in that case. Honestly, if he's not 100% fit, Nonto, we don't have to risk him from the start. I think if he has 20 good minutes in his legs because of his ankle problems, better to have him off the bench and Ramazani having his chance from the start. Yeah.
Yeah, Demar says if Rama starts and has a poor game, Joe and the other Farke fanboys be blasting him, saying it's not true at all. It's not true at all. Like, Ramazani's a good player, of course he is. I don't think he's shit.
I'll be well happy if he starts. I'll be buzzing.
Yeah,
better on the left though. It's better on the left for me. Him and Nonto, they're both better on the left for me. But the problem is that Solomon can only play on the left, basically. So you have to play the other one on the right. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah. Luke, do you want to finish what you were saying?
Oh, go on.
Yeah, I just thought that moment that they had at the end of the game last night was probably, I think Nonto's probably earned his start, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm probably reading into it a little bit too much, and maybe he's just going to get some minutes. And he said, look, you're going to play a part. He saw Dan James going down the tunnel. So yeah, maybe I was reading into it a little bit too much and maybe getting a little bit overexcited. It probably will be Willie Nonto because he can play on the right, but I agree with Andrea. All three of them can play better on the left, including Solomon. So Dan James is our only out and out right winger. But I don't see why, if you can play on the left, you can't play on the right. Do you know what I mean? It seems daft, but they're all very much right-footed, aren't they?
Yeah,
definitely so.
What about Schmidt? He's higher up pecking order, isn't he?
Do you know what? That's a good shout, mate. He might start Schmidt.
I mean, I'd go Nonto, but he seems to be higher up pecking order. But like I think Lockie said, it wouldn't surprise me if he does whack Ramazani in. It actually wouldn't surprise. I think he likes to put it on players a little bit. And it's like, and I'd be so up for that. But the idea that, I don't know why somebody thinks that we don't like Ramazani. What's happened with that? What's that one about? Also, I want to go up, boys. So I really don't want to get to this stage of season and then, wishing bad upon players. I want him to. I don't want him to move on next year and have a brilliant season elsewhere. I want him to stay with us, and do well for us. So,
we're all saying he was better.
Exactly.
Well, I was. I know me and Joe, I think before he got injured, he was probably our best attacker.
Oh, I was loving it. We've totally. And we found him because he wasn't looking like he was going to get many minutes. And obviously through injuries, he comes in and it were like, oh, this will never change. This now, nobody's getting back inside. Only because he got injured.
Yeah, but if you look pound for pound, actually, Schmidt that you mentioned, Jack, is the more similar one to James, honestly, because of his pace and the fact that he can go, he can run the whole wing and cross like James does. He's the more similar one to James. So it's not a bad shout, actually. I think if we know Farke's mind now, we got accustomed to that. Is not to rule out, honestly, this solution. To be fair, but yeah, Ramazani, I think it's not us wouldn't want him to succeed at Leeds, but the ones typing, I can't wait to see him leave Leeds and score 15 goals abroad next season, just to prove Farke wrong. Because in that case, they don't want him to stay at Leeds and finally get back to his pre-injury levels. Because again, he was absolutely consistent. He struggled at the start, but up to the pace of English football. After that late goal that he scored, monumental one, he was very, very good. And it was a pity that he got injured. He's 24. He still has to develop as a player. Otherwise, even considering, the fact that Schmidt got called up by Switzerland playing in the championship, otherwise he could be in contention because he has the talent for Belgium. Absolutely, he hasn't been called up yet, so there's a reason for that too, because he still needs to develop in a different type of football, English football, very different to Spanish football, where better suited, I think, Spanish football for him. But he has the talent to adapt and become an impactful player, a player having an impact in English football games, style of football,
Yeah, for sure. Sorry, just fucking some in the chat, man. Like, even still trying to push like narratives and that. We want a game of football, man. Chill the fuck out, people. Still coming with that same shit. Sorry, Luke. You.
It's the same old people as well, isn't it? The same people, exact same faces. You can almost write it, and they'll be back here if we don't get a result. The first time we don't get a result that's expected or that way, they'll be there saying, "Told you so." I fucking told you so. What do they get out of it? Like, seriously, just tell me now what you actually get out of trying to Leeds failing, so you're right. You know what I mean? That's what almost it feels like. Just fucking get over yourselves.
Yeah. Anyway, we move.
Nobody's bigger than the club.
No, exactly. Yeah,
side before self.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Right, folks, I think we'll leave it there. We've done an hour and 13 minutes. Tomorrow is Thursday. White Rose Rivals press conference isn't until Friday. Then we play Saturday morning. So it's quick and fast paced, isn't it? So yeah, it's good. Like I say, I think there's like 23 days left or something of the season, which is mad when you consider that. It's coming round thick and fast. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you go check out Auto Know Better for Luke's dieting tips. Make sure you check out Lucky Leeds for all your tactical nous. Andrea for just everything sport related, to be honest. And then Mr. Jack City, because he just makes me laugh every time I watch his stuff. It's great content, so make sure you go and check him out. Yeah, it's been a great show. And long may this continue. Smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, hit that notification bell. Oh, shut up! No, yeah. Shut up, man. Where? What the fuck's done with it? You're even getting me shot. For fuck's sake. Anyway, right, let's move. We're going. Bye-bye. Peace out, folks.